Hey everybody, Tracy here. Welcome back to Yogi Plant and welcome back to session number 2 of our beginner series. So as discussed before, this session is basically just going to build on the sequence we practiced in the first session. And we'll bring you along the yogi path. So we're just going to open up this session with a few deep breaths. So I invite you just to breathe in through your nose and then let it all out through your mouth in a nice big sigh. Ready? Breathe in and breathe out. We're going to do it one more time. Breathe in and breathe out. Okay, next we're going to move into some nice yoga breathing. So we're basically going to breathe in through our nose, count for 4 while we're inhaling, pause for 2 at the top, and then exhale for 4. And then pause for 2, and then inhale for 4, pause for 2, and then exhale for 4. All right, so I invite you to join me on a nice inhale for 4 through your nose. Pause for 2. Pause for 2. Inhale again. Pause and exhale. Two more times. Inhale. Pause and exhale. Pause. Okay, last one. Inhale. Pause and exhale. So now we're just going to do a few neck rolls. So I invite you to just, you can put your hands down beside the back of you. I'm actually sitting on a block here, forgot to mention that. So if you'd like to grab a block, go ahead. If not, you can just be sitting cross-legged too. Put your hands down behind your legs here. We're going to inhale, and on an exhale, we're just going to look to our left. Inhale. And on an exhale, we're just going to slowly rotate our face down, looking down at the bottom of our mat. Then we're going to inhale to the right. And on an exhale, we're going to go all the way down again. And then inhale to our left. So we're just going to do that 2 more times. I invite you to do that at your own time with your own breath. And then on your next exhale, just come to center. Inhale, look up to the ceiling. Hold this for 2 breaths. And then on your next exhale, look all the way down to the mat. Inhale, look up. Okay, now we're just going to do a gentle twist. So I invite you to take your right hand, put it on your left knee, take your left hand, just put it behind you. Inhale, sit up straight. And on an exhale, we're going to twist to the left. And we're just going to hold this for a couple more breaths. Always remember to be breathing through your nose. Next inhale, look to center. Then we're going to do the same thing on the right hand side. So you're going to take your left hand, put it on your right knee, take your right hand, put it on your, just behind you, inhale up, and exhale, twist to the right. Your gaze can be somewhat straight ahead, in line with your face, or it could be to the floor a little bit on your right hand side. Okay, one more breath here. And on an exhale, come to center. So now I invite you to stretch your feet. So I'm going to do this sideways just so you can see what I'm doing here, and then I'll turn to center and face you guys again. So we're going to do 2 types of feet stretching. The first one, we're going to keep our toes on the mat, and we're going to sit on our toes. Ooh, that feels good. Okay, and then after we do that, when I cue you, we're just going to put our feet flat on the mat so that the tops of our feet are facing the mat, and then we're going to sit back down on them. All right, so we're going to start, like I said, with our toes touching the mat like this. So our toes are kind of peaked at the mat. And sit back. Ooh, this is always such a good stretch. And at the same time, we're just going to do a gentle wrist and forearm stretch. So I invite you to stick your right hand out. Your palm of your hand is making like a stop. On an inhale, you're going to grab your fingers. And on an exhale, you're just going to bring your fingers in towards you, just a little bit. And we're going to hold this for 2 more breaths. And on an exhale, we're just going to release our right hand and put our left hand on our knuckles and bring our palm of our right hand towards us while maintaining our arms straight. Two more breaths. Okay, you can release your hand, put your hands down ahead of you, and just kick your feet against your mat. Okay, so now we're going to do the second part, and so now the tops of your feet are going to be facing your mat, and you're going to be sitting on them. And we're going to stretch out our left wrist now. So put your hand out like stop, inhale, and on an exhale, just bend your fingers towards you. And one more breath here. And on an exhale, we're just going to bend now our fingers down so that our palm is facing us. And we're just going to give a little bit of pressure here. And this is kind of a cool stretch you can do at work, you know, if you just need to stretch out your wrists a little bit, pretty much anywhere you're at. Okay, on an exhale, we're just going to release down. On an inhale, I invite you to stand up on your knees. So you're going to put your right leg out. We're going to lift our left arm up and inhale. And on an exhale, we're just going to slide our right hand down our right leg as we bend to our right hand side. and exhale. Our gaze is up at the ceiling. Your hand could be, the palm of your hand could be facing your right side. You're feeling a nice stretch all the way along your left-hand side. You're going to try to maintain your weight here balance between your left knee and your right leg. And don't forget to breathe. And inhale, we're going to come up and do the same thing on the other side. Something you can do if you find this bothers your knees a little bit, is you can take your mat and just roll it. And that'll give you double the cushioning. It's a little more comfortable for your knees. Okay, so I'm going to put my left leg out now. I'm going to inhale my right arm up. My left arm is on my left leg. I'm going to look up. On exhale, I'm going to bend to my left-hand side. So I don't have a lot of weight on my left arm. I'm pretty much just using it for balance. See, I can easily take it off and maintain the posture. My gaze is at the ceiling. I'm feeling a nice stretch here. In fact, this feels so good. I'm just going to exhale and go a little bit lower. Two more breaths. On inhale, we're going to come up. And on exhale, just bring your leg in. Okay, I invite you to come into tabletop. Just going to move my block up here a little bit. So your wrists are underneath your shoulders, your knees are underneath your hips. And we're going to move into cat-cow. You might remember that from the first sequence. So on an inhale, we're going to raise our foreheads and our tailbones to the sky. And on an exhale, we're going to move into our Halloween cat, which is the opposite. So your forehead and your tailbone go down to the mat. Inhale back up. And exhale down. I'm going to do this a couple more times. Inhale into cow. And then exhale into cat. Last one, inhale up. And exhale into cat. And we're going to come into a neutral tabletop. We're going to inhale. And on exhale, we're going to come into our first downward dog. So you're going to tuck your feet, and then you're going to lift your bum into the air. Now I have quite long arms and legs, so I usually make my stance just a little bit wider. I think the average people, like the average human body, you should be able to do a downward dog from tabletop position without having to move your hands. But if you're like me and you have extra long arms or extra short arms, you're going to find you might have to shorten your stance or lengthen it. So I'm continuing to breathe through my nose here. Can't see my heels. If you guys can see your heels, just wiggle them behind your feet. I'm pushing through the palms of my hands, through my fingers. My fingers are spread apart. And I'm just looking at the tops of my thighs here. Continuing to lift my tailbone up into the sky. You can pedal your feet here if that feels good. And then eventually come into a quiet stance. Okay, one more breath here. On the exhale, we're going to bend our legs. And on the inhale, we're going to walk up our hands up between our feet. We're going to come up halfway. On an inhale, and we're going to exhale down. Forward bend. Don't forget to bend your knees here if you need to, so that your tummy's touching the tops of your thighs and your hands are on the floor. Then we're going to inhale all the way up to the ceiling. And exhale our hands down. So here we are in Tadasana. You might remember this from our last class. So I'm just going to turn so you can see me here. Tadasana is a mountain pose, and it's a very strong pose in yoga. So you're going to want to feel the ground through your feet. You're grounding through your legs. You're lifting your kneecaps here. Feeling the energy moving up all the way through your body. Just imagine like a little string lifting your head up straight. So you're always working on, lifting your head up a little bit higher, maintaining good posture, your shoulders dropping down your back. Some people like to stand with their palms out. Some others like to just stand normally with their palms facing in. As you exhale, engage your tummy. And just have a very strong stance. Your weight is balanced evenly between your 2 feet. And your feet can be together or slightly apart. Okay, so I'm going to join you. I'm at the top of my mat here. We're going to go into our first sun salutation A. We're going to inhale our arms to the sky. Into salute. We're going to exhale all the way down to forward bend. We're going to inhale halfway up. And we're going to exhale our hands down to the mat. And then we're going to come down into plank. So you can stay here in plank or feel free to drop your knees, whatever is feeling okay for you. If you're staying in plank, you're going to make sure that your hands are underneath your shoulders. And then we're going to slowly lower down onto our tummy. Okay, on an inhale, we're going to come up into baby cobra, lifting your head and your chest off the mat. Here you can feel your pubic bone pushing into your mat a little bit. Not a ton of weight on your hands. This lift is coming from your core. Feel your shoulders drop down your back. And we're going to exhale down. We're going to inhale up through tabletop. And then we're going to exhale into downward dog. Once again, I'm pushing through my fingertips here and my hands. I'm looking at my thighs. Continuing to breathe through my nose. I'm lifting my tailbone to the sky. My next exhale, I'm going to bend my knees. And I'm going to walk up to my hands on an inhale. Exhale down. Inhale up halfway. Exhale down to the mat again. And then on an inhale, we're going to come all the way up, our hands to the sky. And we're going to exhale our hands down. Back to Tadasana. So I'm just going to turn now so you can see me again. We're going to move into tree. So I'm just going to lift my camera up a little bit here so you guys can see me a little bit taller. Okay, so I'm sure everybody's seen tree before in yoga pictures or whatever. So the secret for tree, to start out with anyway for beginners, is you want to just inhale and you want to move your weight to your right hand side. So here you can bend your left leg and continue to breathe. So once that's feeling okay for you, you can inhale. There's a couple things you can do. So you can leave your foot, your toes touching the ground, and just spin your leg out to the left. And then inhale your hands into prayer. So right now, you should be able to just lift your foot off the ground because all your weight should be on your right hand side. And if you would like to try that on your next inhale, just lift your foot to your calf. Once again, imagine a string pulling you straight up. Your drishti or your gaze should be on something straight ahead of you. If that feels okay, you can try to lift your hands into the air. Standing strong, rooting into the ground through your right foot. You might waver a little bit, and that's okay because trees do wave in the wind. You can try smiling here. On your next exhale, you can bring your hands down, put your foot down. Okay, we're going to do the exact same thing on our left hand side now. We're going to inhale and exhale all of our weight onto our left hand side. Inhale your leg out. And you can stay here if you like. Or you inhale your hands into prayer. And if this is feeling okay for you, on your next inhale, you can bring your foot up to your left calf. Once again, your gaze is forward. This feels okay. On your next inhale, you can raise your arms up. And you can try smiling here. It might feel okay. Don't feel like you have to. You could be a serious tree too. On your next exhale, just come on down, back into Tadasana. Good job, everybody. Okay, I'm just going to bend my camera down a little bit more now as we move into some more floor work here and standing postures. Okay, so I'm going to join you guys in Tadasana at the top of my mat. And on my next inhale, I'm going to step my right foot back. We're going to go into Warrior One. So you want to find that position you found in our first sequence, positioning your feet at not too wide apart, but wide enough you're going to be able to bend your left knee. Eventually you'll get to know your body so well, and you'll be comfortable in stepping back into Warrior One. So my right foot is turned 45 degrees. My left toes are facing the top of my mat. My hips are facing like the top right-hand corner to my mat. I'm going to inhale my hands to my hips. And I'm going to exhale my knee, bend my knee down. So I can see that my knee is over top of my foot. And I know that my knee's in a good position here because I can see the side of my foot past my knee. So I know it's not bending over too far to the right or over too far to the left. I'm going to inhale my hands into prayer. And if it feels good for you, you can inhale your hands all the way up to the ceiling. I'm going to hold this pose for about 3 breaths. Feel both your legs standing strong. And your shoulders dropping down your back. Kneecaps engaged. Okay, on exhale, I'm going to come straighten my leg here. I'm going to keep my feet where they are. I'm actually going to grab my block. So feel free to do the same. We're going to come into triangle pose. So triangle pose, you keep your feet in the same position they were at with warrior one. You could actually just shorten your stance a little bit. We're going to inhale our arms up into a T. On an exhale, we're going to bend as far as we can. We're reaching to the left-hand side. We're going to inhale. On an exhale, we're going to bring our left hand down to the side of our foot. So as you can see, the block comes in quite handy. It helps keep my alignment in a healthy position. My back's in a healthy position. I'm not hunched over. And I'm going to bring my right hand here to be in line with my left, or a good way to know if it's in a good spot is if your hand's in line with your mouth. If you don't have a block, you could also put your hand on your shin. And if you feel comfortable, you can put your hand on your ankle, on your foot, or on the ground. I'm just going to grab my block because today this feels good to me. Okay, on an inhale, we're going to come up. We're going to face center. Exhale. Inhale, we're going to now move to the opposite side. So first we're going to do warrior one. So we're going to inhale, hands to our hips. Make sure our hips are facing the top left-hand corner of our mat. Our left foot is 45 degrees. And on the exhale, we're going to bend our right knee. Inhale my hands into prayer here. Doing a quick knee check. Make sure my knee is healthy and stacked over my ankle. I'm balancing between both legs here. Both legs are strong. And if you would like, please join me in lifting your hands to the ceiling. Feel your abdomen engaged. Shoulders dropping down your back. Your legs are engaged. And inhale, we're going to come up. Straighten our right leg here. I'm going to reach down and grab my block. Move into triangle. So I haven't moved my feet. My left foot is still 45-degree angle, and my right foot is facing the top of my mat. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, your reach as far as you can to the right-hand side. Inhale again. Stick that hip out, and then exhale down, your right hand down to meet beside your foot in whatever way is working for you today. So you can have your hand on your shin, ankle, your foot. You can have your hand on the outside of your foot. For me today, like I said, I'm into using my block. So my left hand is up, and I'm trying to put it slightly so that it's over top of my mouth. Not like this, obviously, but just in line with my mouth. My gaze is at the ceiling. I have a nice strong triangle. We're going to exhale our hands down, and then we're going to come up to standing. We're going to inhale ourselves to the top of the mat, and we're going to face the top of the mat. And here we are back in Tadasana. So on your next inhale, we're going to step back into Warrior Two. So as you might recall from the last class, Warrior One was a smaller stance. Warrior Two is a much wider stance. So you want to go at least a foot wider than Warrior One. Your right foot is turned about 45 degrees and your left toes are facing the top of your mat. We're going to inhale our arms up like a T. Oh, and I should also mention that your hips are facing the long side of your mat. On your next exhale, we're going to bend our left knee so that it's sitting once again healthy and comfortable on top of our left ankle. You can take a check back at your right arm there, make sure it's up and somewhat in line with your left hand so that you're making a T. This is a very strong posture. At any time, if your arms get tired, you can always bring them to your waist. If this is feeling really good for you, on an exhale, you can sink a little lower into the pose. You can try tucking in your tailbone just a little bit here, and that engages your abdominal muscles. 2 more breaths here. Okay, we're going to inhale to center. And we're going to do a forward bend here. So you might want to grab your block. We're going to inhale up. And we're going to exhale all the way down. So your knees can have a little micro bend here. Your feet are parallel to your top and bottom of your mat. Inhale, lift your head a little bit. And then exhale, forward bend at the hips. So you might be here, you might be here. You might not be using a block, and you might have your hands between your legs here. Your gaze is on the back wall behind you. Your neck is dropping down. And you're breathing through your nose. 2 more breaths here. On an exhale, you might try to go just a little bit lower. Or if you're comfortable where you're at, just stay where you are. Okay, on an inhale, come up halfway, hands at the hips. Exhale. Inhale up. And if you're like me and you have long legs, scoot your feet together a little bit. Inhale. And on an exhale, we're going to turn to our right. So now we're going to do Warrior Two on the right. On an inhale, raise your hands into a T position. Exhale, bend your right knee. Make sure your arms are aligned with each other, that you can see your foot slightly past your knee there, like the inside of your foot. Your gaze is over top of your right hand. And you're strong. They say warrior two helps with self-confidence. I can see why. It's a very strong pose. Okay, just another breath here. On inhale, we're going to come to center, turn our feet so that they are parallel to the top and bottom of our mat. Don't forget to breathe here. On inhale, we're going to raise our arms to the ceiling. And on an exhale, we're just going to bend down into another forward bend. So you're bending at the hips. This time you're going to grab your two big toes. So you're going to inhale, look up a bit. And then you're going to exhale down. Don't forget to micro bend your knees here a little bit. Your gaze is on the wall behind you. And your elbows are just bending out towards the front and the back of your mat. All right, 2 more breaths here. On an inhale, we'll come up halfway, hands at our hips. Exhale. And on inhale, we'll come up all the way. We're going to scooch our feet in, and then we're going to exhale ourselves to the top of our mat. And here we'll all be in Tadasana. Inhale your arms up. Exhale them all the way down to the bottom, or to your mat. Bending your knees where required. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale your hands down. We're going to move into plank here. Once again, you have the option to go on your knees and exhale all the way down through Chaturanga Dandasana. We're going to do a little baby cobra here. Inhale up. Just your forehead in your chest. Exhale down. Inhale through tabletop. And then exhale all the way into child's pose. So you can leave your hands out. Give a nice stretch through your shoulders. Or if you like, you can take your hands and place them palms up by your side. Give your body a chance to reset. We're going to stay here for 3 more breaths. And your next inhale, come on up slowly. We're going to place our feet out in front of us. We're going to come into staff pose here. So sitting up straight, your legs are out in front of you, your toes are engaged, your hands are by your side. You're going to feel your core muscles engage as you sit up straight and continue to breathe. Your leg muscles are engaged as you bend your feet. So your toes are kind of facing towards your forehead. And we're going to hold this for 2 more breaths. On an inhale, we're going to raise our hands up. And on an exhale, we're going to come into a forward bend. So your forward bend might be on your shins. It could be with your ankles. Could be at your toes. Whatever feels right for you. The main thing is that you want to keep your gaze looking at your feet. And this helps to keep your back in a healthy position. You might want to try on an exhale, going a little bit deeper. I find the longer you hold this pose, the further you can go with it, actually. And we're just going to go for one more breath here. On inhale, we're going to come up. On the exhale, we're going to just bend our knees. Our hands are going to be facing our bums. And we're just going to do a modified reverse plank. So you'll feel naturally, because of the position of your hands, your chest is expanding. We're going to inhale into our chest. And we're going to exhale. You're going to lean back into your hands here. Raise your chest up. If it feels okay for your neck, you could actually drop your neck a bit. On inhale, lift your head. And on exhale, you put your hands down. Or your legs. Hands on your legs. Okay, so I'm just going to turn to face you so you can see me a little bit better. We're going to go into modified, I can't remember what this one's called now. Fish. Anyway, it's a twist. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is lift your left knee and put your foot on the ground. And then you're going to take your left foot and put it over your right knee. Okay, and then you're going to take your right foot and just bend your knee so you look a lot like a pretzel. So your left foot's on the ground, your right foot is facing your mat, the top of your foot down. So we're just going to gently hold our knee here. We take our left hand, put it behind us for support. We're going to inhale, straighten up. And on exhale, we're going to twist to our left. This should give you a nice twist all throughout your core. On exhale, you can try to go a little bit further if that feels okay for you. Sitting up straight. One more breath here. We're going to exhale to center. We're going to let our legs go loose. Then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to lift our right leg, put our right foot on the outside of our left leg. We're going to bend our left leg, and so we look very much like a pretzel. Just going to keep my hand on my knee here. I'm going to inhale, straighten up. And then I'm going to exhale and twist to my right. It's a nice chest opener. Such a nice twist for your core. Remember to continue to breathe here. we're going to exhale, meet center. All right, so now we're going to lay down on our backs. We're going to hug our knees in. Give ourselves a nice hug. Feel your shoulders touching your mat. Let your shoulders drop down onto your mat. Feel your chest open here. Your knees hug nicely into your chest. Okay, on an exhale, we're just going to exhale our feet to the mat and keep our knees bent. We're going to inhale our arms into a T position. On an exhale, we're just going to let our knees drop to our left-hand side. And here you're going to want to try to stack your knees as much as possible if it's comfortable for you. And turn your head to face the right-hand side. Just breathe into the twist here. Let gravity do all the work. Two more breaths. Okay, on an inhale, we're going to bring our knees up and look straight to the ceiling. And on an exhale, we're going to let them fall to the other side. So our knees are going to fall to the right, and our body's going to naturally twist to the left. And we're going to end up looking to our left-hand side. You might feel a nice stretch here through your hips. Just breathe into that. Two more breaths here. On an inhale, we're going to straighten up. So our face is facing the ceiling. Our knees are up straight, up high. And then on exhale, we're just going to release our arms and our legs. So here you might want to give your knees one final hug. If that feels okay for you. And we're just going to release our legs down to the mat. When you're ready, move into Shavasana. Move your body in whatever way to get comfy. Your palms can be facing the ceiling. Your feet comfortably, however they want to lay. Take a moment here to take a breath. Could try another sigh release. So inhale, and on an exhale, just let out a big sigh. One more time, inhale, and on an exhale, let it out. And you can just let your breath go. Breathe naturally. Don't worry about it. Let it fall into whatever pattern your body needs it to be in right now. If your tongue is touching the backs of your teeth, you might just want to let it go. Send it to the back of your mouth. Let it fall comfortably. Your eyelids closed softly. Feel the muscles in your face relaxing. Forehead relaxing. Notice the air touching your face. Your nose maybe, your ears, your chin. Feel that gentle touch of the air all around you. Bring awareness to your shoulders. Feel how the backs of your shoulders are touching the mat. The back of your arms touching the mat. Bring your awareness to your elbows. Notice how your forearms feel on your mat. Bring awareness to your palms of your hands. Feel the air there. Feel the air touching your fingertips. And then the nice, strong surface of the mat, the ground beneath the backs of your palms. Bring your awareness all the way from your shoulders. Notice where your back is touching the mat. Where your glutes are touching the mat. The backs of your legs. Your ankles. If some thoughts creep into your mind, that's quite all right. Thank them for coming in and wish them adieu and let them go out. Now bring awareness to your breath. You're not controlling it. You're just aware. Aware of your inhale, how you exhale. Your breath gently and consistently there for you. And you know, anytime you need it, your breath is there for you. So, you know, if you find that you're amidst some sort of chaos in your everyday life and you're reaching to find some grounding, find some support, you come back to your breath. It's always there for you. Just notice how you breathe in and how you breathe out. Like always, this is a video practice, so if you would like to stay longer in Shavasana, please feel free to do so. Those of you who are ready to come out, start by wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes. Give yourself a nice stretch. Whatever feels good for you. And you can gently open your eyes if you like. And when you're ready, just turn onto your right hand side. Rest your head on your arm. Take a moment here. When you're ready, I invite you to meet me in sitting. And you can sit any way you want. So thanks so much for joining me on number 2 of our 6-part series of Beginner's Vinyasa Flow. I am so grateful to be here, and I'm so grateful that you are here. Peace, peace, peace. Namaste.